Not gonna say anything. Hey, I mean, what's going on, guys? Welcome to another edition of Analytically Correct. We're over here at Public House on University. Rob's here. Stretch is here. We did last week the fantasy football extravaganza. I had my first draft yesterday. I think it wound up going pretty well. I've done enough mock drafts to this point to where I don't even need to look at anything. I can just pretty much pick whoever I want. We're getting into like the 10th, 11th round. I'm like, I already know who I want. Let me pick. I think the biggest news of this week, and I was kind of surprised because before you came in, Stretch said, thank God for Andrew Luck because there's not much to talk about. And I said, it's football season. There's a ton of stuff to talk about. There's going to be 20 weeks in a row where we have a ton of stuff to talk about.
It's the NFL soap opera.
Yeah, well, he said, like, thanks for Andrew Luck retiring. We have something to talk about.
It's a huge headline for sure because, I mean...
Well, we'll start with that for sure. Like, your thoughts. It was a shocker. Like, where were you when it happened? I was at work.
I was at work as well.
And not a ton of my friends at work anymore watch football. So I got the update, and I had to show it to somebody. And there were so few people at work that watch football. I showed it to my table. I was like, hey, do you guys watch football? Like, yeah. I'm like, Andrew Luck just retired.
I was like, well, when I saw the breaking news, I saw Andrew Luck. I said, okay, maybe he's out like the first couple of weeks or something. And I turned around like, hey, what did that say on breaking news? Like, oh no, Andrew Luck retired.
And
so,
he if you like me, I thought he was going to start week 1.
Well, like, I need to take back my AFC South prediction because not only did I predict that they would win the South, but I also thought Andrew Luck would make it to a Super Bowl potentially this year. Like, I really thought they were a dark horse contender to win a Super Bowl.
He was a pretty good pick for like 10, 12, 15 to 1 for like MVP. The Colts were a lower pick for like to win the Super Bowl, to win the AFC.
Everything looked like it would work. The offensive line was healthy. The defense looked very good last year. The team's young. Marlon Mack's now healthy. I figured him and T.Y. would consistently do what they've been doing.
No, they're fucked.
And now it's just like, okay, like if I'm the Colts, I'm trading for Ryan Tannehill, or at least trying to.
I said in the chat, which Stretch promptly made fun of me for, I was like, Andrew Luck retired. He's like, we all know about this. Like, I'm just trying to get the dialogue going here, guys. It's a sports chat. So I'm like, do you trade for Tannehill? Do you trade for who's the backup right now for Goff?
It's Bortles.
Yeah, Bortles. And any of those guys. If Dak Prescott, and the crazy thing, if Dak Prescott is asking for $30 million,
oh man,
what did Andrew Luck just give up?
Well, you heard me last night. My big thing, my big hope, and pretty much a dream would be that we play Dak out this year. We let him play out. We obviously don't make it as far as we think we should, and we trade him because Indy is looking to win now. Indy's not. I mean, you've heard the front office the past 2 years. The whole rivalry with New England is a big thing to them. They want that rivalry ignited. They thought they would be ignited all over again.
Dak, though.
No, sadly they won't. But I will say that if I'm picking a team now out of the South, I'm picking the Jaguars. Like, I'm reverting my pick, obviously, from the Colts because not that I hate Jacoby Brissett. I just think Nick Foles, if you saw Blake Bortles be able to take them to an AFC Championship game by being average and just being a little bit better than average at times, then I think for sure, without a doubt, that you would be able to see someone like a Nick Foles lead Jacksonville, who, if you saw the game where I understand it's preseason, but we're watching guys like Josh Allen. He looked absolutely amazing in the preseason this year so far. I mean, he's been a great defensive playmaker all over. He's all over the field. Granted, yes, he did go all over Miami's poor offensive line. But again, you're having that young defense now. Maybe Leonard Fournette can come out and be the running back he was always supposed to quote-unquote be. But I still think that the Jaguars now, I feel like the Jaguars would make that jump above Indy right now.
I think it's interesting because there's only 2 teams. Like, we all know the Titans suck, right?
Yeah, really.
We can agree they suck.
Yeah.
So it's either you're going to take the Jags defense or you're going to take the Texans because of Deshaun Watson.
Well, without a run game and a poor offensive line, I'm not the biggest. I like Watson. I thought, he's a potential, candidate who could win the MVP. I just don't like that team as a whole because especially they're getting rid of Jadeveon Clowney. The big trade rumors that Miami's jumping on Jadeveon or the Seahawks or the Eagles will. If they lose that premier pass rusher, they're going to start losing more and more down the road now.
Yeah, it's weird because I understand the salary cap hit that the Texans are going to take, but why are you going to trade away one of the best pass rushers in the league?
My view on them is they probably just don't see him worth the amount he's asking for. But you got to
know-
get something out of it.
They
I mean,
know they're going to have to pay Deshaun Watson, too.
Yes, and it's you just paid Hopkins. It's just man, it's going to be a tough one for them to go through. But I definitely believe that they are going to need to get multiple first-round picks for this.
Every team goes through this, though. Like, if you have to pay your quarterback, the only thing I don't understand is most of the time when you have to pay your quarterback, you want to maximize the team around him. So you would pay Clowney before you have to pay Deshaun Watson. Instead of trading him away.
My thing with Clowney's always been, is he worth the $20 million a year that he's going to see? And that's the big question.
I think he's one of the best pass rushers in the league.
I'm opposite on that one.
Really?
I think that I am, because I do think that it's helped him, number one, that he's had guys like Merciless and J.J. Watt on the defense with him. It's helped him that he's been around one of the best defensive-minded coaches. It's helped him that he has been on a pretty good unit, but even then, he's not a double-digit sack guy. He's like an Olivier Vernon to me, like I said earlier. It's just like, yeah, he's a very good player.
But he's always been hurt, though. Like, when he's been healthy, he's been one of the best guys in the league.
But that's someone you don't want to pay $20 million to if he's healthy. You don't want that stigma attached to a $20 million player, I feel like. That, me personally. I always thought he's never lived up to being the number one overall pick, is my whole thing.
I mean, it's hard to live up to being the number one overall pick. Look at Jameis Winston, Marcus Mariota.
And those are
I'd
guys
much rather have Jadeveon Clowney.
Those are guys we would never dream of paying that kind of money to either, though. When you really look at the up and down with Jadeveon's, like, I'm not against Houston trading him, but they better get at least, if not one, maybe 2 first-round picks. Right? He was the number one overall pick. I mean, that does need to be said that they need to get full value out of that.
It seems like what people are trading right now for everybody, like, nobody's going to trade a number one pick for anyone who's in the league right now.
Well, pass rusher, I do think that always brings in a difference, especially a team like Philly or Seattle. Teams that need.
Oh my God! If he went to Philadelphia, that'd be sick.
Oh man, I would hate that. But I mean, teams like Philly and Seattle, I mean, they will give up their first round. I mean, you just had them lose Clark over in Seattle, so if they're going to be looking for another guy, he's really big on right now looking at between Philly and Seattle are his 2 options. Even though he was in Miami today talking with Flores and the rest of the coaching staff. I think Miami, if they go that route, they could go that route because they aren't paying a quarterback right now. They aren't paying a running back. They're not really paying any receivers outside of Kenny, and it's just like. Miami makes sense financially, but like you're going to be having a great defensive player like that. When they had Ndamukong Suh, their run game wasn't much better. Like they weren't great against the run with Ndamukong Suh, and Ndamukong Suh was a plus interior guy with them for those years. It's just how much effect is he really going to bring? And if that's the Dolphins' reboot, their whole rebuild, I don't disagree with it. At least you're going after a pass rusher and you're putting your money when you can and see what happens. $20 million a year for him is just, to me, is out of a price range. I think it's a little much. But, I mean, that's the cost for premier defensive ends. I just don't believe he's a premier pass rusher the way that his contract's going to explain it.
I mean, I would love to have him on my team. It just depends what you have to give up.
Yeah. I mean, I thought Washington would be the perfect fit for him because their left tackle wants to leave. They need offensive line in Houston. Washington loves having these big pass rushers. They love having these names. You'd have Montez Sweat on top of it.
Yeah, they're one of those teams where it's like this, like the Jets. Like they sign somebody who's a name, but I don't think that Jadeveon Clowney is just a name. I think he's a really good player still. But getting away from what we were talking about, Andrew Luck, like when you heard about it, I feel like you're either on one side or the other. Like, how do you feel about his retirement?
Well, it's
there were people criticizing him, and there's people like saying like, "Oh, okay, you walked away when you wanted to."
People criticizing him, I feel like, just have no right to do that. I mean, at any point, you can leave whatever profession you want to leave. Like, he doesn't owe anyone anything.
It's not very good for like sports talk, but I kind of get both sides. I get the side that says, "Why did you do it 1 week before the season started?"
Mm-hmm.
And the other side that says, "You had to do what's best for your life."
Mm-hmm.
So if I had to take a extreme side, why the fuck did you just do it 1 week before the season started?
And there were the rumors that supposedly they knew about it since March, and they were kind of pushing him to play one more year.
I don't believe it.
I don't either, personally.
If they knew since March, then they made a mistake in not drafting a quarterback or not.
Because you had guys going in the second and third. Will Greer's were going, Drew Locks were going late. I mean, you had guys you could have picked up later, not right away, but later in the draft for sure. I talked to Stretch about this last year and other people. My claim, I did think that last year would be his last year of football, but not for this way. I thought because he would get hurt again and because he would realize, number one, he's a guy that he's a Stanford grad. When he got drafted, the first time he talked about playing football, before he got drafted, he was saying that he doesn't need football. And that to me raised a red flag because it's nothing against guys. I think it's great that guys have other things they can do outside of football. But if I was an NFL GM, I want guys that only can, like, this is their way of making money and they know this is their livelihood. That's what I would personally want. I'm not saying what he does is any problem. There's no problem being an educated guy. I'm just saying when a guy does come out and say his family comes very well off, he's a very well-educated guy. The concussion issue of football is growing more and more every year with these guys' head injuries. These guys see these guys down the road now. It's an awareness of what these wear and tear does on your body. I mean, every great athlete, we look at them now, they can't even walk normally, no matter the sport they're coming from.
Yeah, it's kind of sad when you see like the Hall of Fame inductions, and you see Jim Brown walking up in a cane, Barry Sanders, who retired like well before he
Yes, yeah.
and he's still like fucked up.
It's just, you can just hear in their speech, they just don't sound. And so when it came to that, I last year said it would be Andrew Luck's last year. Now, I did not expect that, obviously, this year. My call was complete. I did not expect the way for his year to go last year. I did not expect him to win Comeback Player of the Year, to be an MVP candidate. I didn't expect that. I really thought his year was going to fall apart, and he was going to be like, I'm just done. I don't want to do this anymore.
But far be it from us to just agree. Nobody wants to see us agree the whole time. Let's go on the other side, and let's play devil's advocate.
He owes all the people who went out and grabbed a new luxury. No, he doesn't owe anyone that. If you went out and bought a jersey, that's on you. You bought the jersey. You don't.
So on the other side of it, I agree that when you put the team in this kind of a state, one or 2 weeks before it starts, I don't agree with the fans booing him.
No, man, I don't.
Because first of all, fuck you. Like, you had Peyton Manning for 20 years, and then you had one bad year, and then Andrew Luck.
Yeah.
How many teams would love to have those quarterbacks?
Quite frankly, I hope that fan base doesn't get another franchise quarterback for the next 10 years.
No, I'm rooting for the Colts to go 0-16 this year.
Yeah, like that.
But that would almost be them winning. If the Colts went 0-16, how fucked up would that be? Because they're gonna get Tua, or next year they're gonna get Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah, like
we don't want that.
Well, I mean, I don't think Jacoby Brissett's as bad as to where they're going to have a top 5 pick. I think they can teeter-totter around the 6-10 to 8-8 mark.
Yeah, but Jacoby Brissett just has that Patriots dust on him. Like, I don't know if he's that good.
I mean, the team as a whole should be pretty good. I mean, the defense is good. The offensive line is solid. I mean, a guy that, like I said, I think
with Andrew Luck, they were like a Super Bowl possibility.
Yeah, I thought they would be a Super Bowl
contender.
More
than Lions or more than like other teams.
Oh yeah, I think for people to treat it the way they're treating it, it's like, understand this, like that franchise was hiding injuries from him. Like, they were not reporting fully on, like, lacerated kidneys, ruptured spleens, shoulder tears that were worse than what they really were. The guy was throwing Nerf footballs for like 16 months. He wasn't even touching them. Like, last year, it was the first time he touched a football in over a year. He wasn't actually playing with them, but he was using balls that had zero like connotation to the game. This man was just hurt. He was beat up.
It just seems like what happened within the past week that made you change your mind to retire?
Because that has to be the ankle injury is worse than what it is. There's no way it's just a rolled ankle.
And so this is a couple things I wanted to talk about. Are the comments made by a couple of media people. It was someone Doug Gottlieb, and like Ryan Berline or some shit. No, not super famous people. They said, rehabbing from an injury, and you're a sports medical science kind of guy. He said, rehabbing from an injury, it's too hard. That's like the most millennial thing ever.
I mean, the way that he explained it was it took the fun out of the game, and he's right, because you're no longer practicing. You're no longer on the field. You're going to the training room. You're doing this. You're doing that. You're out of the game. I mean, the guy was out of the game for a little bit. So with that being said, it's like, yeah, he has every right to decide that because he was not having fun. You could see it. You could see that he didn't want to retire. Like, a side of him really didn't want to. I mean, he's been doing this for 20 plus years, playing football. So finally, this was a moment in his life where he's just done playing football now. And he had that realization.
I'm trying to see both sides, because you can see where somebody could criticize him and say, rehabbing for your job is too hard. Like, you're going to quit because of that.
I think anyone who criticizes him just didn't play sports or never got hurt in sports.
I'm just trying to see both sides. Like, he left. I mean, obviously it was a hard decision for him. He left hundreds of millions of dollars on the table. Like, more than any of us will ever make.
Yeah, he left a second contract. He left a third contract on the table.
More than any of us will ever make. So anyone who's criticizing him, saying that it's too hard, imagine how much pain or whatever, how hard it could have been for him.
Yeah, I mean,
For him to leave that much money on the table.
I mean, he could have been like other quarterbacks and just take the contract and half-ass it, Joe Flacco. You know, you could have been one of those guys.
Yeah, I mean, God forbid he could have been like, what's the guy who drank the lean from the Raiders?
Oh, Jamarcus Russell? Yeah, he could have. I mean,
That was only one contract.
You know, he could have been guys that just, you know, the guy was, when he played, he put his heart and everything into it. He played through injuries. He played through a lot as a player. He went out there, he accomplished, you know, yes, did he not win a Super Bowl? He did not win a Super Bowl. But at the same time, like, you know what? Let's not kill the guy for not winning a Super Bowl, okay? He played 7-8 years, and how long was he really hurt throughout those years? He was beat up a lot. The offensive line was horrible for years. The guy was not given. I mean,
He also wound up being like, you talking about Jamarcus Russell, he wound up being like 300 pounds.
Yeah. But it's just like, Luck had a really, it's not like he just walked into a great situation. Everyone wants to act like it, but when you take Andrew Luck off that team, the team wasn't good. Andrew Luck was really was a very solid quarterback, sound quarterback.
I think it's just disappointing because whether you're in or out on Andrew Luck, he, to me, could have been one of the best quarterbacks of all time. And he wound up playing 6 seasons.
Yeah, yeah. My look on it is, if you're mad because of the fantasy football, go to hell.
No, who gives a fuck?
Yeah, like, go to hell. Like, that's just my personal way of feeling. Like, if you're mad at some guy, like, the guy, in my opinion, like I said, if you did not follow the career of Andrew Luck, really follow the career and see what the Colts did to the guy.
Stanford and everything?
Like,
the guy I want to punch in the face, I mean, obviously you know I'm a Jim Harbaugh guy. The guy I want to punch in the face is the guy at the bar at, like, Ale House on a Sunday. He's like, throw it to Gronk. I'm like, nobody gives a shit, okay? Mm-hmm. Nobody cares about your fantasy team. I barely care about my own fantasy team.
At that point, like I said, my biggest issue when it came down to it was just, when people are booing him, it's like, that's disrespectful, man. That's unbelievable. It's disgusting.
Any Colts fan, if anyone's watching that's a Colts fan, anyone that's booing.
And you agreed with booing.
You take off his jersey, like, how messed up is that? This guy brought you, like, everything, like, one of the best quarterbacks in the league. And just because he wants to retire, you're going to take your jersey off and boo? You're going to boo a guy that brought you almost to the Super Bowl.
This guy was one of the most hit quarterbacks for like 5 years. His first 5 years, he was getting beat to hell. And he was still winning 10, 12 games a year. Like, the guy was a very solid. My thing is, a lot of people don't understand. They look at the immediate. They think, okay, well, he was this and that. Like someone like me, when I was reporting about the Colts, I thought, okay, the Colts should win the Super Bowl because Luck is going to play. He's going to be a great player. He could win MVP. But then you see all this happen, and everyone's just expecting, like, that he's fine, he can play. No, he's not fine.
There's a ton of reasons to boo athletes. You can boo Floyd Mayweather. You can boo John Jones, who is like, if you're going to compare John Jones, which I thought about with Andrew Luck, John Jones is one of the best athletes of all time in his sport, but it was all self-inflicted. Andrew Luck, you can argue the doctors messed him up.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's just, when you're out there, when your injury report is not a full injury report, and the team isn't losing draft picks because of that, that's insane.
And Paul just said it. Paul just said Luck is a class act. No one outside the team can put themselves in his shoes. What if he gave up that much money? What do you think he was feeling?
Yeah, that's the thing. Like I said, he could have taken that contract, half-assed it.
People call out of work for one day because they're hungover. This guy quit his career because he felt so bad physically that he's given up hundreds of millions of dollars.
And the thing on top of it, too, is, like, you know what, for you guys to insult him, like, realize if you were Andrew Luck, you would be a Stanford grad. So that means you don't need football to make a lot of money. He's already got he's got the full resume to go out there and still just be without getting hit now.
I want anyone to comment in on the other side.
Yeah, honestly.
I want anyone to say, why do you disagree with Andrew Luck? Why are you calling him this or that? For anything that he's done so far. He's also 29. Like, that's not that young.
Like, and the thing is, everyone expects quarterbacks to play for 15 years. And what makes Tom Brady so special for playing for 20 years is he's done this for 20 years now. He's taken the wear and tear of the
He's
grind.
also the outlier.
Yes, Ben Roethlisberger's, who have played this long.
He's the exception to the rule. He's not the rule.
Not every quarterback can go out there and get beat up like that. It takes a special type of person to want to do that. And you can just tell Andrew Luck was just not having fun with the game anymore. And when he said that it's not fun when you have to go to rehab consistently.
I feel bad. Like, I really feel bad because I think that he could have been one of the best quarterbacks of all time. And everything that happened was all due to injury.
Well, when he was coming out of Stanford, I mean, all the reports were out there, like how great he was to me, how this and that. And there was not a single person that didn't think he would not be a potential Hall of Famer.
Yeah, all right, so we can get into that. Do you think he's a Hall of Famer?
No.
No?
No, he didn't play. I mean, He played realistic. There's no way. I mean, and I'm not taking away from his career. Yeah, he had a solid career, but he left way too early. And it's like, dude, you only played 6 or 7 years. You can't be a Hall of Fame quarterback off that.
I think he's a Hall of Famer.
Really?
Yeah.
I think it was I just think that you have guys that are not going to make the Hall of Fame that had a lot of years and a lot of numbers behind it. Like McNabb will not make the Hall of Fame. He went to the NFC Championship 4 times. You know, that's a guy that should be in the Hall of Fame. And that's a guy should be talked about being in the Hall of Fame.
Ahead of Luck?
Yeah, Luck only played 6 or 7 years. Like,
so Donovan McNabb is better than Andrew Luck.
not saying he's better, but his career is because number one, he played longer. I mean, he had a longer career.
He also had Terrell Owens.
For 1 year.
Yeah, who was Andrew Luck's best receiver? T.Y. Hilton, he went to FIU.
T.Y. Hilton was at least there for multiple years, and he did lead the league in receiving with him as well. I'm not saying that I get where you're going with Andrew Luck, but at the same time, like, Andrew Luck didn't play long enough. This isn't the NBA where we just get pity MVPs. I mean, pity.
It's
pity,
not the
Hall of
NBA
Fames.
where I can get in.
Yeah, I mean, like, well, it's like where guys like if Tracy McGrady was a football player, he would never be a first ballot because he has no playoff victories in a series. Like, we're talking about, like, the NFL, especially for quarterbacks, the resume to get in as a quarterback is a lot tougher than a lot of positions because it's based off of rings. You don't look at receivers and you're like, oh, he doesn't have a ring. It doesn't mark against you. If you're a quarterback and you don't have a ring, it's a hard thing to get in. Dan Marino is one of the exceptions, you know?
Terrell Owens is strictly not in just because he's an asshole. Speaking as somebody who's an asshole, you shouldn't be held against you, like, for your accomplishments.
Because when you look at Terrell Owens, it was like Randy Moss got in on the first ballot, and we're going to act like he wasn't. I mean, he was getting in trouble for stuff outside of football that was getting him, like, arrested and stuff. Like, Terrell Owens, people got mad at him for hating the media and talking the way he did to the media, but it's like, at the end of the day, did he ever hit a girl? Did he ever hit his kids? Did he ever, you know,
That doesn't have to do with the Hall of Fame.
No, it does. No, I'm being honest, because this guy they said character issues. So what's the character issue about Terrell Owens? Because he's rude to media?
No, because
he's a wide receiver diva?
Because the media votes on it and the media hates
exactly. That's all it was, because when you look at, I mean, yeah, see, I mean, I agree with the career not being long. I think he was on track to be a Hall of Famer, but it's just when you cut your career short that way, it just happens that way, you know? It's especially at the quarterback position, it's a tough position to get in to be a Hall of Famer. Not like any other position isn't, but like that's the toughest position to get in as a Hall of Famer. Because you are people look at quarterback to be the team. They get all the praise and they get all the hell. Unless you're Aaron Rodgers, for some reason you get no hell. You just you're great and that's it. It's nothing. Unbelievable. Yeah, I mean, 24,000, I mean, the numbers on him he was on track, hands down. He was definitely on track. But it's just...
So far, Paul and Chuck said no Hall of Fame for Andrew Luck. For you guys who are watching, is it just because he didn't play long enough? Because if you extrapolate his career, he should definitely be Hall of Fame.
Yeah, but
is Michael Vick a Hall of Famer?
No, God, no.
What do you mean, God, no?
No.
You say God, no?
God, no. He couldn't stay healthy. He turned the ball over so many times. The man would fumble the ball. He'd throw interceptions. He didn't win enough. How is he a Hall of Famer? His numbers don't even show Hall of Fame numbers.
I just asked a question.
No,
Jesus Christ.
God, no. I got an argument earlier
Hands
this
up,
week
don't
about
shoot.
it.
I just asked a fucking question.
It's the Michael Vick, though. It's like, no. Because
So Chuck just said yes and no, so I'm not really sure what he's talking about.
Vic changed the game, but that doesn't
Terrell
make a Hall of
Davis,
Famer.
nobody cares about the Broncos, okay? My friend Tyler's a Broncos fan. Can we all give a collective sigh? Nobody cares about the Broncos.
Okay,
they suck.
listen, I get Vic was better than Joe Namath, but if we put how many quarterbacks right now are better than Joe Namath?
Okay, but
Ryan
Joe Namath
Tannehill's
was
in
an
the-
alcoholic. Like, I could have thrown for 1,000 yards back
That's
then.
my thing. Like, I get Namath to the Hall of Fame, but think about how many quarterbacks right now are better than Namath. How many backups may be better than Namath?
You say Andrew Luck's not a Hall of Famer, but Joe Namath is?
No, I'm just reading the comments here because he's talking about Vic was better than Joe Namath, and I'm a Jets fan. I'm like, yeah, like, I understand Namath is a Hall of Famer, but, like, no.
Tyler's saying yes for Andrew Luck. Shortened by injury, but he's a stud, Hall of Famer. Why can Andrew Luck not be a Hall of Famer?
I just think 7 years is enough years to play.
It was actually 6 years.
So, like, I just don't think it's long enough. It's just, I get what he did. I get he was on track.
But you can't extrapolate it into a term where you know that Andrew Luck is that good. Like, he's still better than some of the Hall of Fame quarterbacks that are in now.
No, he is, but there are also other quarterbacks who aren't in that are better as well. It's the fact that we're going to have this guy, he's been to one AFC championship game, because now we're really going to go after his
But
career
his
now.
team has been trashed the entire time.
I get that, but at the same time, he's had one AFC Championship game. They got killed that AFC Championship game too. That wasn't like a close one. He had a horrible game that AFC Championship game as well. So the one big game we want to see him in, granted, yes, it was against the Patriots. Granted, it was quote-unquote Deflategate. You know, at the end of the day, Vic, okay, guys, everyone's saying Vic is a Hall of Famer. Stop looking at it as he changed the game, because just because you changed the game doesn't make you a Hall of Famer. Like, I want to hear why Vic's a Hall of Famer. Like, if you look at the numbers,
he changed the game.
that doesn't make you a Hall of Famer.
I think it does.
It makes you a known player. He's a great player, but like Vic had a lot of turnovers in his career. If we want to really look at his career numbers,
Peyton Manning had like 17 interceptions his first
Manning
year.
also was known to be one of the greatest quarterbacks at the end of the day, though.
Did he or did he not have like 20 interceptions?
I
his
get
first
he did.
year?
I get he had 20 interceptions his first year. But we're
Did he
talking about
run
a
for as many
career.
yards as Michael Vick did?
We don't put running for yards. I understand, but Vic
So same
couldn't stay healthy.
interceptions, but less running yards.
Vic couldn't stay healthy. He fumbled the ball a lot, and he threw a lot of interceptions. As a quarterback,
He couldn't stay healthy. Phil for time. I'm gonna look up Michael Vick's season stats.
I can't wait to laugh.
Wait, Phil for time. You gotta talk.
Oh, Phil for time got it. No, but no. As a whole, it's not that I'm like, okay, it's not that I'm being anti-Vic, but let's also be very realistic. Let's not just let anyone in the Hall of Fame. You gotta have a resume, and I understand if Andrew Luck were not, I'd put Andrew Luck in the Hall of Fame before Michael Vick.
Yeah, but he was a much better quarterback. But I'm not saying that doesn't mean Andrew Luck is better than almost every quarterback in the league right now.
Oh no, he's like I said, he was a top 5 quarterback coming in this year. Like it was.
Like I'm in the camp where I think Aaron Rodgers is better than Tom Brady.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's better than Peyton Manning. I don't care about championships, Super Bowls. I just watch the games. And I think that Aaron Rodgers is the best quarterback I've ever watched play the game.
Okay, so Vic's career's partner was in jail. So what do you want me to do? Just give it a pass? It doesn't matter if some of his career was in jail or not. The fact is he was in jail. It happened. I don't know what you want. What do you want to pass on that? Like, no, you didn't play. He didn't put up the numbers. He didn't play. Like, it's just, it is what it is. And when he got out of jail, he was also all right for a little bit. It's not like he came back and took over the league. He had a season where he looked good, and then kind of fell off. I'm not taking anything away from Vic and how he changed the game. But the way I'm talking about Michael, it's like now we're just trying to put him in the elite of the elite. He did not put up numbers as a career quarterback.
I think he did.
Patrick Willis, now that's a good call. That's a good conversation. Is Patrick Willis a Hall of Famer? Because when he left a little too early as well. 133 touchdowns, 88 interceptions, guys, 22,000 yards. Hall of Famer? No.
For who?
I'm looking at Michael Vick's right now. What's the win-loss record?
So 2001 he came in. Mm-hmm.
First overall pick.
8 games, 15, 5, 15, 15, 16, 12, 12, 13, 10, 7, 10, 5. So most of the seasons in his career, he played either 15, 13, 12, or 10.
56 completion percentage. Looks horrendous. Luck is not top 10. What, right now? That's crazy. He almost won MVP last year.
Luck is not top 10 in the league, Paul, right now, or of all time?
All time. Now, all time, obviously. That's.
No, I don't think it's obvious.
Well, I just don't think you can give him the nod over other quarterbacks to the amount of time he played. That's the only reason why.
Okay,
now,
that's fine. I mean, just because you hang on like Peyton Manning forever, the year that Peyton Manning won his last Super Bowl, he was trash.
It's just arguably his worst year.
I could have won the Super Bowl with that fucking defense.
Luck is not top 10 ever. I mean, yeah, I think he was on track to be. I just like
you could make the argument, but it's tough when you only play 6 seasons.
You're forgetting the TV. You know, you can give me all your little, Michael Vick things you want. I'm just looking at his numbers, and if you're gonna tell me 133 touchdowns and 88 picks is a Hall of Fame resume, then you're Hall of Fame. I'm glad you're not a voter.
No, the Patrick Willis thing and the Andrew Luck thing.
Patrick Willis, though, that's an argument there. And Andrew Luck, I think both those guys, because Patrick Willis is kind of similar to Andrew Luck, to where he kind of left at the top of his game.
It is kind of crazy how, like, this is the most high-profile guy that's done that, right? Like, we both saw it at work. That was shocking.
Yeah.
Like, I had nobody at work left. Paul left. Tyler left. I had to show it to a table. And I was like, hey, look, guys, you guys like football? Andrew Luck just retired.
Yeah, and that's, but, like, the amount of, like, like I said, it's insane to think of a guy just like kind of leaving. But when you really look at the rest of the, like I said, when you look at his injury history and you look at the team history, it kind of makes sense too, though. I mean, the guy was just beat to hell for years.
I mean, yeah, but he's a quarterback. Like, it's not like you're. Look at like other guys who are getting these injuries. I mean, as quarterback, I mean, I don't know. It just seems. I understand his decision. It just seems crazy to me that you're gonna retire, and you can have just the same injury doing like a, I don't know.
It was just, I mean, it just comes to the fact of how much does he really need the game, and he came out and said he really doesn't need the game that much.
Nobody needs the game when you get the millions of dollars.
No, you don't.
But he literally left millions, hundreds of millions of dollars on the table.
Also, Michael Vick was 61, 51, and 1, guys. 61 victories does not get you in the Hall of Fame, believe it or not. So let's tone it down.
We're smarter than that. We're not doing wins and losses. I mean, it's
do
you judge pitchers on wins and losses?
No. But I went off of touchdown passes, 133, not enough. I went off interceptions, 88. He has 56% completion, 22,000 yards, only 65, 66 wins. Like, where's the resume really come into place now? He's transcended. Transcended is not Hall of Fame. It just means you change the game.
I think transcendent. I think is Hall of Fame.
So transcendent is. I mean, I really can't agree with that because that means.
You said he was hurt most of his career. Most of his career, he played at least 12
I didn't say
games.
he was hurt. I said he got hurt in his career. Like, he got torn ACLs, beat up on his legs. I mean, the guy was running around getting beat to hell.
Okay, 2012 and before, 13, 10, 13, 12, 12, 16, 15, almost all the games.
And we're saying we can't mention interceptions. Favre also played like 23 years, so yes, he's going to have more interceptions.
Don't even get me started on Brett Favre.
I mean, Brett Favre 23 years.
Brett Favre is the most overrated quarterback in NFL history.
I still think it's Bradshaw. Only because Bradshaw
I think
had,
Namath is up there.
Vic ran 6,000 yards on the ground, Paul. That's still, like, I'm sorry, man. So 28,000 total yards. I'm not giving him a Hall of, like, there's no way, man. At the quarterback position is so judged on winning. He didn't win. If McNabb is not in the Hall of Fame, how's Michael Vick going to be in the Hall of Fame?
No, the quarterback position should not be judged on a Hall of Fame. Aaron Rodgers is the best quarterback of all time.
He'll make the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, he's the best quarterback all time in history.
That's crazy, but...
It's not crazy.
It is.
He's better than Peyton Manning. He's better than Tom Brady. He just hasn't had a good team around him.
Okay, stop. Because Tom has missed guys left and right and still won. Tom didn't have Gronk for a playoff and still won a Super Bowl. Gronk has been in the Super Bowl since
he also has the best support system around him.
This man, McCarthy, was a great coach until Aaron Rodgers decided he wasn't. Everyone loved McCarthy until Aaron Rodgers didn't like him.
So who hired him after he got fired?
He actually had 4 job interviews, and he didn't want to go work for anyone because he said none of them were in the right situation. The Jets, the Browns. Oh, you're laughing, but name me how many people succeed with the Jets, the Browns. Let's go on. The Cardinals. I mean, come on. You're laughing at opportunities that suck.
So Mike McCarthy is a good coach, but after he got fired, nobody hired him.
No, because he didn't want to go work with anyone either, though. He didn't want to work with the Bengals. He didn't want to work with the Cardinals. He didn't want to work with these teams.
He didn't want to work with the Browns?
Why would you?
What do you mean, why would you? They're like the biggest hype team this year.
Because the Browns front office is always in the sample. So you're going to tell me all
the
of a sudden.
Bengals, you can work there for 10 years and go 8-8, and you can stay there forever.
Those are teams that no coach just wants to walk into those situations because number one, the front offices are horrible.
Who is Mike McCarthy to go and say
a Super Bowl winning coach?
Yeah, because of Aaron Rodgers.
That defense was very good too.
No, it was not.
B.J. Rodgers was fantastic. Clay Matthews won Defensive Player of the Year that year, if I'm not mistaken.
Right.
I mean, they were very good. I mean, let's be very honest.
Who's still left on the team?
Aaron Rodgers, but also what has Aaron Rodgers done since that Super Bowl?
Just be the best quarterback in the league every
single year. He can't even win his division, so how's he the best quarterback every year?
He's the best quarterback in the league. He's the best quarterback of all time.
All time is really ridiculous because Dan Marino still played quarterback, Joe Montana still played quarterback.
Yeah, that's fine. Joe Montana played in a season when they hand off the ball 50 times a game.
He wasn't. Hey, but you know what? Okay, what about Marino?
Marino is just Brett Favre before Brett Favre.
Come on. That really is.
No, so are we counting rings or are we not counting rings?
We don't. Listen, I'm not even putting. If you don't want to put the ring, then fine. I'll take Dan Marino out, even though arguably he is one of the greatest quarterbacks. Tom Brady is still better than Aaron. He makes his teammates better. Aaron doesn't make his teammates better. He doesn't. He blames everyone else for his issues.
What teammates does he not make better? Geronimo Allison? Nobody knows who the fuck that is.
He really doesn't make anyone that much better around him. He can't.
Devontae Adams is an average receiver without Aaron Rodgers.
Because Devontae Adams puts up numbers without Rodgers too. He'll have Brett Hundley throwing the football, and he'll still be able to find out how to get to the end zone. Like Devontae Adams is a solid receiver. He has become a very good receiver. I mean, if you want to say Randall Cobb, okay, Randall Cobb had it 1 year, then he kept
Randall Cobb.
Jordy Nelson was a good receiver.
Where is he now?
Well, I mean, he got
Where
hurt.
was he on any other team besides with Aaron Rodgers?
You're acting like Aaron Rodgers made this many people that much better. Like, I hate to say it, dude. I understand you like Rodgers, but Rodgers can't even win his division consistently. And his division hasn't been that great.
Because of surrounding cast and coaching.
But no. His division hasn't been that great. If you're that great of a quarterback, you should be able to beat Minnesota when they had Teddy Bridgewater throwing 13 touchdowns. Or you should be able to beat Matthew Stafford with no defense.
That was when he was hurt, though. The Lions have never won the division.
The
Bears haven't won the division.
I mean, I hate to say it, like the Bears this year are probably going to run through him again. I mean, the guy's just not that, like, we're really talking about Rodgers. Like, Rodgers is always like this pristine, nothing Rodgers can do is wrong. Rodgers hasn't done much since that Super Bowl. He really hasn't. He's beaten the Cowboys twice in the playoffs. Awesome. What else?
Just watch him play.
I know, I've watched him play many times. I watched him play against Seattle in the NFC Championship game.
We're getting into the argument
good.
of rings.
No, we're not even arguing about rings. I'm not arguing about rings. I'm just saying, what's he done since his Super Bowl? Because I brought up Marino, so clearly if we're talking about rings, I lost that one. I just think when it talks about greatest quarterback ever, he's still got some time to prove that. I'm not taking it away from him. He's got time to prove it, though. He needs to win. He needs to keep winning.
I agree that if he's that good, he should win. But when you have that kind of a surrounding cast around you, you need a little bit more help.
And let's not act like this guy is going to be a great head coach either. I mean, he was running Tennessee's offense last year.
I never said that he was good. I mean, I would rather just have Aaron Rodgers just be the fucking head coach.
Oh, and it's the LeBron factor now.
Yeah, LeBron. Okay, if LeBron was a head coach in the NBA, where would you rank him? Top 5?
No.
No?
No. He plays isolation basketball. There's no IQ to play that. So, no, I would not rank him top 5 for that.
LeBron is probably the smartest basketball human in the world.
That's right. Tristan Thompson got a great contract because of him. That worked out.
All right, but was that because he actually thought he was good, or because he
thought he was a GM?
If I just got paid $1 million for a restaurant and I hired you and I said, hey, my friend Rob, we're getting him a job. Whether I think you're that good or not, you're just helping your friend out.
I get that, but helping your friend out shouldn't come down to like that. Like, I don't believe in, like, I get it. Like, yeah, he's a smart.
You don't think he got the last laugh on that contract? Like LeBron getting his, he's literally running an agency.
He got his last laugh in the finals when J.R. Smith was like, didn't know to shoot the ball because that's his friend on the team.
LeBron is literally running a basketball agency in the NBA right now, which is not legal.
To an extent, because this, like, he has Anthony Davis. Outside of that, who else does he have on the Lakers besides Kuzma and Anthony Davis?
Whether he's a good GM or not,
he's a horrible GM.
It doesn't matter. He's a GM.
And LA is not.
Even Jordan didn't do that.
No, because like they had a stable front office.
But he's taking.
Come on.
He's taking control of teams to a level that has not ever been before.
He took control of Cleveland. Pat Riley wasn't playing that nonsense.
He controls the Lakers.
He doesn't control the Lakers.
He got Luke Walton fired.
They won't even bring on Carmelo for him.
They just brought on, who's the guy who always gets hurt? Dwight Howard.
Dwight Howard, dude. They had to, because Boogie just got down. And it was Howard, Noah, or what's his face?
Papo's on.
Spates. It was Maurice Spates was the third one, right? They were looking at? Yeah, it's like, I would go Dwight Howard out of all those guys. I'm not, when it comes to Rodgers, yes, do I respect him as a quarterback? Of course I do. I think he's arguably one of the best quarterbacks here. Should we go like this? But I don't think all time that you can just throw on like, oh yeah, he's the greatest one ever. It's like, is he? Because you got to do a lot to be the greatest ever. I mean, say what you want about support system. If you can run a system for 20 years like you've done in New England with Tom Brady, that makes you great. Not anyone can just run the system for 20 years. There are guys that do drop off. I mean, there are guys that just don't consistently progress further. Like Ben Roethlisberger's been there for years, but we don't see them making the next step with Ben since their last Super Bowl win, since their last Super Bowl appearance. Influencer
is here. Shout out to Dre for our combine. I don't know if this is healthy.
Coolest thing ever.
Actually, I know it's not healthy. I think I took 5 Adderall on Sunday. I'm lucky to be alive.
Dude, that is one of the funniest things I ever heard. The whole combine you guys have to decide, I like it.
Oh no, it's awesome. Shout out to Dre. Everyone in the league, if Brian's still here, Brian hosted the league. It was like one of the most fun days of my life. You know, I graduated in 2009, and this was like our 10-year reunion. Mm-hmm. I didn't go, but the league this year, the combine was like everyone I actually still care about from high school. It was like one of the most fun things I've ever done. It was awesome.
From seeing it, I thought it was great. It just the different things to do.
It was awesome. It was so fun. And then by the time the draft happened, everyone was wrecked.
Now, my question for you is, do you think that Aaron Rodgers is going to be there much longer in Green Bay? Because I don't. I think he's going to be fed up with it. Because, I mean, that clearly...
Well, he got his coaching change, which is what he wanted. So, I mean, if it doesn't work out this year, why would he leave? Like, he has all the power.
Because he also realizes that it's coming to that time where he just wants to win, and if Green Bay can't do it, players do this now. This is a thing that players are becoming more. Every sport is becoming more and more like this.
But it's like the Kawhi Leonard thing. Like, it doesn't matter where he is. Everyone around him, he's going to make better. Whether you think that, you said earlier, he doesn't make people around him better. He does.
He would go to the playoffs consistently.
Okay, so if Blake Bortles was the quarterback, those
no, because they are in the same conversation.
Those receivers you wouldn't even know their names.
No, why are you?
Geronimo Allison would be D.D. Westbrook.
Geronimo Allison has like 3 good games a year. Will we stop acting like he's just because he's on every fantasy sleeper watch with Matthew Berry doesn't mean he's a great receiver.
No, you know his name because Aaron Rodgers is his quarterback.
And because he plays for the Packers, so he has 4 primetime games a year.
Wherever Aaron Rodgers goes, it's the Kawhi Leonard thing. Wherever he goes is gonna be a chance to win the Super Bowl.
I'm not no, because if there are teams that Aaron could go to, that would be just a whole nother mess. It's not like Green Bay has a whole...
If Aaron Rodgers went to the Dolphins this year, could they win the Super Bowl?
No.
No?
I think they win the division.
Well, I mean, Tom Brady's in the division.
I mean, and the Dolphins are a mess. The Dolphins are a mess right now. It's just... Oh, here we go. Oh, Ninja. Yeah, man, how does he make so much money playing video games? Good for him. I wish I was him.
What are you saying?
Talking about Ninja, the Fortnite guy.
Oh, yeah. Follow us on Twitch, speaking of Ninja.
Dude, congrats to him. How do you win so much? He has all this money playing video games, and everyone that, like, insulted children playing video games, they're pissed now because, you know what? These guys are making millions of dollars off sponsorships.
I'm getting old because I start saying things like this country's going to shit.
It used to be better.
When Dave Chappelle had that thing against the cancer kid, when he was playing, like, NBA Street Hoops.
Oh, yes.
Nurse, come in here. Because Billy's getting his ass whooped in some street hoops. What's the square root of this apartment?
The only reason why I think that Rodgers would leave is because I think that Rodgers is going to want to step away from Green Bay if Green Bay does not want to consistently make things better. I think Green Bay's defense is going to be very good this year, though. They've done nothing but consistently draft defensive talent. And if that pairs out, maybe because the NFC North is starting to look like you're going to need a consistent defense to contend in it, obviously with Chicago and Minnesota now. Green Bay's going to need that defense to come out and be a lot more aggressive. And they've drafted a lot of DBs out there. They have a lot of defense that's young on the team. I want to see what that defense develops to.
Did you watch the UM-UF game at all?
I actually got to watch the rerun of it, and I thought it was one of the sloppiest football games that were played, too.
I watched the last 4 minutes, and I wanted to kill myself.
It was just left and right, and it's not that I hate both teams, but it's just both teams.
No, I hate both teams.
I just think both teams are irrelevant in any playoff talk this year.
Fuck both teams, and if you're watching, fuck both fan bases. How about that?
I just don't think.
How about that?
I don't think the Gators will
Stretch
be.
is, hey, you're alienating viewers.
What do you hate Miami for?
The fans are terrible.
He hates Miami fans.
They don't know the players, they don't know the team. All they know is, oh, we're back.
We're back.
They suck, all right?
They're the Cowboys fans of college football.
What's in the pen? It's just nicotine, unfortunately.
Honestly, I'll be very honest with you, though. I just don't see either team going out there and contending for a playoff. I think Florida's still a year or two away from that. Also, I will never say Felipe Franks is going to be on a playoff football team. I
said it while I was watching the game. He sounds like a knockoff hot dog company.
I mean, if he was a backup, if he was a backup for Aaron Rodgers, maybe. I mean, yeah, maybe he could be a playoff quarterback, but that's about it. I don't see him,
As far as that game goes, other than Felipe Franks, Jarren Williams is not the answer. If you're a Miami fan, I will tell you that right now.
He's a true freshman with a beat-up line, a young line, and also a good defense play.
How long? 100 years. This is a stat. In 100 years, that's the most sacks the Gators have ever gotten.
Yeah.
How long can you stand back there and just take sack after sack?
Well, I mean, when you also, the guy is...
I've seen porn stars that have taken less sacks.
I will say with him that it's being a true freshman and your first battle is going to be the University of Florida with a defense that's top tier. It's not the easiest competition to walk right into by all means. He is a true freshman.
Tate Martell got beat out and Kosi Perry got beat out. Tate Martell's a receiver now.
Yeah, Tate Martell was also kind of proven not to be as great as
Well, you know where he came from. You know where he learned how to lose, right?
Oh man,
Ohio State.
What did he transfer to Michigan?
Hey,
He was. No, I was not.
Florida's 8. You know who's 7?
That is true. Man will rise to the end of the earth for Shea Patterson, Jim Harbaugh, though.
Wait, whoa. What's going on over here? Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
I will accept that. Ryan Maddox, what's the trade? I refuse to be raped. Gators better than Michigan? Oh, get the fuck out of here.
Well, the Cowboys just offered a new contract close to Todd Gurley. That's a thing, too.
Yeah, they should offer a contract to Shea Patterson because Dak Prescott sucks.
Oh, man. God bless. Now we're going to... God bless. Shea Patterson's not even better than Dak Prescott was in college.
In other Michigan news, Chad Henne just broke his ankle.
Yeah, I saw that. I did see that. And they brought on, what's his face? Who'd they bring on?
Denard Robinson?
No, God. Jesus Christ, dude. He still can't even tie his shoes, man. What are you talking about?
Hey, that was on purpose.
That was on purpose.
You bite your tongue.
I'm actually, what do you think about the Florida State Boise State game this week? Because I think that's another kind of a dud game.
I really want Boise State to win.
Oh, man. Here's the thing that I will say. If Florida State can't win 8 games this year, it's time for little Willie Taggart to go home. It's time for him to go somewhere else.
You hate Willie Taggart,
dude,
huh?
Yes. Because you know what my problem with Florida State fans, I've said this many times,
lay it
I'm gonna
out.
say it again, is you got, like, Florida State fans want to come out and say, oh, well, it's not his team. It's a better team than he's ever recruited.
I'll say this, I don't want your life.
I don't want your life. Like, Jimbo Fisher recruited a better team than any team that this man has worked with. And this man all of a sudden has 2 5-star running backs and he can't run the football at all.
Cam Akers should be like the best running back in the country, right?
Cam Akers should be like contending for a Heisman. Like if Cam Akers was in Clemson, if he was in Alabama, Ohio State, hell, even Michigan, he would be contending for a Heisman.
Wait, why do you say hell, even Michigan?
Because I just don't see, because Shea Patterson's so good, I don't see you guys needing to run the ball, right?
I hate you so much.
They have no money to fire him, though. They are right, though. They don't have the money because, you know what, they paid Willie $6.5 million for some reason. Like,
Brian actually knows about football.
I think it's $5.5 million they paid him, but still, they paid him way too much money. It makes no sense. But I mean, at the same time, it was Florida State thinking they could just get by with whoever because their name is Florida State, but it was just a poor hiring. It made no sense.
For Ryan, why would I trade Kerryon Johnson for Josh Jacobs when I drafted Josh Jacobs ahead of Kerryon Johnson? I refuse to be raped. Not to get too graphic about it, but in this league, there's a thing called getting raped, and it's when you lose a trade.
Yeah, I'm the Jameis Winston of our leagues, dude.
Yeah. There was a trade last year, Edwin, his nickname is Big Chuck. He got raped last year real bad.
Yeah, basically,
like, he would have been in jail for life. Ryan would have been.
Yeah, I'd be sitting down with Darren Sharper and just hanging out with him.
Everybody's on here. Tanya.
Hey, that's all show. I mean, Kerryon Johnson for Josh Jacobs, you wouldn't take that?
No, I would. I drafted Josh Jacobs ahead of Kerryon Johnson.
Oh, okay,
you know how I know I had a good draft?
You were intoxicated.
Yeah, who wasn't?
I like it though.
I told you when I drafted I was .177. That was when it started.
Oh man.
You know how I know I had a good draft is because every pick I had, a couple of picks later, I was like, hey, I'll trade you for that guy. So anyone watching, fuck you guys. Everyone tried to trade me after the draft for the guys I picked.
I know we're I was going in further, so it looks like the top. No, I'll just say it because I'm getting alerts about like obviously everything with the Zeke right now. Supposedly the offer was it's closer to Gurley with incentives that would pass Gurley if he plays that way. The big thing that they're falling in between the Zeke contract is the guarantee money between Le'Veon Bell and the guarantee money between Gurley is like close to like $12, $15 million difference in guaranteed, and they're trying to meet the middle ground.
I'm kind of sick of both sides. Like, okay, if you're Jerry Jones, give him the money. If you're Zeke, just take the money. It's like, I don't want to be second to Todd Gurley. It's like, take the fucking money, man.
It's just, my whole thing is, Dallas made clear, and Stephen Jones came out and said that you were going to pick Devontae Parker 3 times, and that is great. Are you a Devontae Parker guy?
No, he wasn't there.
No, he wasn't there.
It was a pretty lenient draft. It was a loose 2-minute time limit. It was almost like, if you're taking too long, just hurry up and fucking pick.
Yeah, I have a draft.
It was a sticker draft too.
Oh, those are always the best.
So we're trying to find
We're
trying. I'll show you right now. I wanted to pick DJ Moore, and you can see when I started getting hammered because I picked David Moore.
Oh my God.
But you can see he fell to me. So I picked David Moore, and I got hammered, and I went, DJ Moore.
Watch David Moore be like one of the top players in the league this year, and it just happened to fall to him. Like,
yeah, I tried to pick two, and then my friend texted me today. He's like, did you not pick a tight end for a reason? Well, yeah, I forgot.
Well, at least you could maybe trade Josh Jacobs for a tight end. Zeke does need to hurry up and sign, but at the same time, like, I can see where Zeke's frustration is coming. That you don't, if you're going to pay Zeke and you want him to take a pay, you don't want to set the market on running backs, which I agree with. Don't try to set the market on quarterbacks when Dak comes up, because Dak is not worth the market.
So
Dak's not worth half the market.
We
Dak
talked
is
about
horrendous.
fantasy last week, right? And this is my most expensive league. All these guys talking here. It's a $300 league, and every week whoever has the highest score, $50. So it's a pretty high money league.
Okay, I like that idea.
Would you be concerned? My first pick was Nick Chubb. Not worried about it at all. He's gonna be good.
I like Nick.
My second pick was Melvin Gordon. Would you be worried about that?
I'm
at all?
worried about Melvin because I could see Melvin truly sitting out, because I don't think a great situation for Houston would be to trade Clowney to the Chargers and get Melvin out of that. If
So-
you did a Melvin and Clowney swap, I think that works out for both teams, because Bosa doesn't stay healthy consistently, and that
So-
team does ride on their defense.
So I picked him. I had the fifth pick, I think. I picked him ahead of, after Odell, I picked him ahead of Le'Veon Bell, ahead of Julio Jones. I picked him ahead of Cooper Kupp. Who the fuck? Hey, if anyone's watching, who the fuck picked Cooper Kupp in the third round? What an idiot.
A little early.
Chris Carson. I picked Josh Jacobs. I don't even feel bad.
The only one is maybe Le'Veon, but then you're with the Jets on that one, and it's like you're
if I have
trusting the
Melvin
Jets.
Gordon, if he winds up signing, he's a top 5 running back.
I think the thing with Melvin is he may legit sit out some games. It may not be the season, but I do think there's going to be a stalemate.
I don't think he's going to sit out at all.
It's his last year, and I think he's going to try to put that stalemate hard on them, because he did have a knee injury last year late, and he has had injuries in his past. So it's kind of coming to the point to where he's more coherent about, I could get hurt, this could happen, You know, it's just one of those things. But I do think the best situation for Melvin would be for him to go to Houston, and for Clowney to go to the LA. I think if that swap happened, that would be an amazing swap for both teams. Both teams win out, big on that one. Chargers pride themselves on having you need a good defense to go up against Patrick Mahomes. You have to have a pass rush to go up and win that division against the Chiefs, because you're not gonna outscore them. So what are you gonna do? You have to go out there. Grab back. But if you're gonna go out there and you're gonna go after a pass rush, that's the way you're gonna beat Mahomes. You can't beat them trying to throw it out.
So you know the reason that I could not grab Eckler? And tell me if this is crazy or not. And Dre, I don't know if he's still on here. Austin Eckler went third round.
And a lot of people are jumping on that one because of the Melvin Gordon situation. I think third round's early, but
So you're pretty much predicting that this guy's not going to play at all. I had Austin Eckler in a 16-team league last year, and he was fine. But even if he's your starting running back, he's not.
It's like the Pollard talk with Dallas. Like I said, Pollard is another Austin Eckler. He can catch the ball in the backfield, make some people miss, but you don't want him running between tackles all game. Pollard for Dallas cannot run in between the tackles, because you can run against the second and third team against.
Oh, this is the team that I want to make fun of the most. If you guys are still watching, we're making fun of Joey's team right now.
Devontae Freeman,
Todd Gurley, Julio Jones, Patrick Mahomes, Devontae Freeman, Tyreek Hill, Aaron Rodgers.
What a dick. He got two really good core. Good for him. Trade Freeman and Rodgers for somebody, dude.
David Njoku, Larry Fitzgerald, Darrell Henderson.
Trade Freeman and Rodgers and try to get a running back out of that.
Or just quit.
I mean, outside of the Freeman, I like the group. I like Julio. I like Mahomes. I like Gurley. I mean, it's just he has. I just think the Aaron Rodgers, Devontae Freeman. I'd look to move
I'm
them.
just never going to be the guy that picks Mahomes.
No, because I won't pick that early of a quarterback. That's the thing. I mean, it's not that I'm against him. I mean, yeah, if he fell in the rounds where I like grabbing quarterbacks, sure, I'd grab him in a heartbeat. But I don't like grabbing quarterbacks for the 8th round. I just would rather have a lot of depth in between receiver and running back and find a guy like Russell Wilson or find a guy like Drew Brees later in the draft, personally. But, I mean, of course, Mahomes should get you like 25 points a game, realistically.
Yeah, but he has to be that much better than every other quarterback.
Yeah, exactly. And that's where it comes down to. And I just really feel like when it comes to the holdout that I think is going to be the most serious is going to be Melvin Gordon. Because
I hope not.
The only reason why I say that is because they're not actively trying to trade him. They've made clear that there's no leeway on any talks. Melvin's waiting on a call from them. They're waiting on Melvin to come in. It's just they're going to stand and they're going to stare at each other. That's
So
it.
would you not draft him in any league? Or?
I'm not. No, I'm staying away from him this year. I do think obviously if he
if
plays.
I was a little more sober, I might have stayed away from him.
If
but
he plays, he's going to be worth the pick, obviously. But it's just I don't want to get involved with that stuff. Like because
I had the Le'Veon Bell thing last year, which I came in second in my league last year, and I had Le'Veon Bell as my first pick, which I still consider a win. If I have no first round pick, Le'Veon Bell, and I still come in second.
Well, I went through that 2 years ago when I drafted Zeke with the third overall pick, and when he was going through suspension, where he kept getting moved back, and it was just like it was kind of a pain, and definitely killed me at the end of the year when he was gone for 6 games, and I needed him for that strong playoff run. Really kind of killed me off. But I mean, I could see, honestly, I think the best thing for Melvin is him in Houston. I think him going to Houston now that they lost Lamar Miller would be the best thing for both sides.
I didn't even think about that. That would be awesome.
I just think, and also
if
Clowney
he went
and
to
Bosa.
Houston, they would be like a Super Bowl contender
And then Clowney and Bosa over there coming off the edge against Mahomes, they could win that division.
You have Deshaun Watson, DeAndre Hopkins, and Melvin Gordon.
Yeah.
Not that any of them are number one, but you can make a case for all of them.
You can make a case for that being one of the top 5 trios in the league, though.
You can make a case
top
easily,
3 trios, in my opinion. When you look at that, I think Clowney going to the Chargers is an even bigger thing, just for the fact that you have to have last year they lost the game. They lost the division by 1 game because they lost to Denver late in the year, and Kansas City lost the game. But since they both lost and went to Kansas City, I don't look at them having this offense that's going to contend against them.
I don't like them getting rid of Clowney, though. Clowney is so good. Like, just keep him.
I know, but I mean, to get Melvin Gordon, you're going to have to. They're going to have to.
It depends when they get back, but they're not going to get back. I mean, if they got back a player, but if they get back a draft pick, like, Houston is in win now mode.
Yeah, I mean, he is right with Houston's O-line, but the good thing about Houston not having the greatest O-line is Melvin does catch the ball really well in the backfield, and with Deshaun Watson, with the read option, with those two.
Would you do this straight up? 5th round pick and Laramie Tunsil for Jadeveon Clowney.
No.
For which team would you not do it?
Well, if I was Houston, I want more of a pick. It's not like Tunsil's came in here and like gone crazy in the league and been like an all-pro. I mean, like, yeah, Tunsil's solid and he was a first rounder, but he's never been like this guy that's like taken over at that position. I would think Trent Williams for Jadeveon Clowney and a 5th rounder would make more sense.
Trent Williams is straight up. Like, Trent Williams is one of the best tackles in the league.
I understand that, but at the same time,
he's better at what he does than Jadeveon Clowney.
They're going to have to give up a draft pick with that too, though.
Trent Williams is better at what he does than Jadeveon Clowney.
Yes, I agree with that. But at the same time, it's like Trent Williams doesn't want to be there at all. I think Washington, and for some reason, any of these 2 teams are being talked about, but Washington and the Chargers are the best spots, I think, for Clowney as a whole when it comes to like what would work more. I think if it's gonna be a straight up trade, Melvin Gordon for him as a straight up would be a straight up, in my opinion. You're getting both sides. It works out for both teams. It makes both teams better on their side of the ball where they need to get better. Because Lamar Miller was on the last year of his contract this year.
A pickle weasel and a raping Ryan.
Whoa.
But Lamar Miller, as far as he's going, like, I don't know.
I watched that game, and the thing
he was one of the lower end running backs to start, anyways.
Well, it's just he was starting to
Lamar Miller or Frank Gore.
Frank Gore.
That's not very good for Lamar Miller.
But the thing about Frank Gore, he may be the most underrated, underappreciated running back of all time, just because he's
Adrian Peterson or Frank Gore.
Adrian Peterson.
He's a freak.
Adrian Pierce, just because Adrian Pierce, I mean, I was really hoping the Washington Redskins would not re-sign him and he'd be a year deal with Dallas possibly. But that obviously did not happen. But I look at Frank Gore is a very underappreciated. I mean, he's 4th overall in rushing. Which one is that?
Huh? Wrap it up.
Wrap it up.
Wrap that gavel up, B. Thank you guys for watching. Stretch said we had to wrap it up. I guess we're running long.
Still go Yankees. We're doing fantastic, so let's keep that going on.
Yeah, Stanton's going to come back eventually, right?
Hey, man, he'll probably come back before Dak Prescott becomes an elite quarterback.
Are the Yankees still your World Series pick?
Yeah.
All right, thank you guys so much for watching. I don't know how long it's been,
Still Durant and Kyrie 2020, guys.
This is the first time Stretch has ever told us to wrap it up, so it must be pretty long. Thank you guys so much. Analytically Correct. I should change my fantasy football name to Bundesliga, but I'm still the Wobbly Weasels. Thank you guys. Peace out.
Marty Sports Melvin Gordon plays week 1.